It is so stressful paying for visa fee, going through all the process and doing all the things you need to do, and you go for the visa interview and your visa is denied. It is very stressful and worrying. That is why in this video, I want to share with you key things that will help you prepare for your visa interview, whether you are coming as a student or as a visitor or whatever kind of visa you are applying to. This video will be very helpful. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are preparing for your visa interview at the US Embassy, right, this video is for you. Because in this video, I'm going to share with you some common misconceptions that you should be aware as you prepare for your interview. Helpful, so stick along, and if you have any question, let me know your question in the comment section. We will attend to all questions. Email us, text us, check the video description, and subscribe if you are new here. The first common misconception is that you need to have a lot of money in your bank account to get your visa approved. While it is important to show sufficient funds for the purpose of your travel, always remember that the visa officers are interested in the source of the money, not how much you have. So it is important to demonstrate how you got the money and the kind of job that you do. So if you are coming as a student and you have a scholarship or you have something, demonstrate who is paying the rest and where or what job the person does. That is important. It is that you must pay attention to. It doesn't matter how much you have. In most cases, visa officers don't even check bank statements. So they are not there to verify the amount of money in your account. They are there to see whether you have sufficient, whether you have money to pay for your trip. And proving that you have money to pay for your trip can easily come from the kind of job you do or the kind of job that your sponsor do. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to have so much in money to get your visa approved. Visa misconception number 2. If you have a relative in the US, your visa will be automatically denied. I have always said that having a relative in the US can be a red flag, because if your relative is here illegally or out of status, automatically that affects you as a person. So first of all, be aware of the status of your relative. Then note that the visa officer is not just going to deny you because you have your mother or your brother here. No. Demonstrate why your brother or your mother will not make you overstay here. So this is where we talk about ties to home country. Explain to the visa officer why you will return. If you're a student, use your academic goal, use your professional experience, the kind of program you are coming to do. How will this program prepare you for your profession in your home country? How will it help you become relevant, become useful in the job market in your home country? Establish that. If you are coming as a visitor and you're coming to visit your wife, your parents, whatever, establish what will bring you back home. It could be your job, it could be the church you attend. Maybe you are either in the church, you are a leader in your country, you are somebody, right? Or you are married, you have your kids. Use that at your disposal. So having a relative here does not necessarily mean that the visa officer will deny you. You just have to demonstrate that your relative will not influence you to overstay. So this is where you prove a very good tie to your home country. Okay. Now, visa misconception number 3. You need travel history to get approved for your US visa. I've heard and I've seen a lot of people who send messages and they're like, Alfred, I want to travel, I want to go for my visa interview, but I don't have any travel history. Will that affect me? About 90% of the people we talk to, we coach, who go for visa interview, have never traveled before. So not having a travel history will not necessarily mean that your visa will be denied. Now, sometimes, depending on the kind of story you take to the embassy, who you are, if you don't have a travel history, that can go against you. Let me give you an example. You went for the interview stating that you are into real estate, you're a businessman, you have a lot of money as a businessman, and you have been very successful as a businessman. The visa officer asks you, have you traveled outside? And you're like, no. Sometimes, the status you present to the visa officer will demand that kind of weird response. Like, what? Most successful businessmen and women in Africa love to travel, at least Dubai, at least somewhere for vacation, for a visit. Like, most people who have money in Africa easily travel because in Africa, traveling is prestigious, right? So if you are in that state and you have not traveled, it sent a signal. When I went for my second visa interview, actually, the visa officer asked me a question, what do I do? I said, I am the national president of Representative of Ghana Youth. I'm in charge of youth missions and overseas work. Like, look at the position I gave to myself. Very big. So visa officer, okay, overseas work. Wow. So have you traveled outside before? So here I brought myself. My response demanded that the work I do should let me travel. So because I had traveled, it became an advantage. Say, yes, I've been to Switzerland, Germany for youth work and for conferences and workshop presentation. I was like, oh, that's good. Then he checked my passport and he saw everything in it. So what I'm saying is that sometimes it depends on your situation. If you have not traveled, it doesn't mean your visa will be denied. But sometimes if you have traveled, it is a cause for the visa officer to approve or deny your visa because of your travel history or not. It depends on the story you present. Okay. Visa misconception number 4: dress expensively to impress the visa officer. I've seen people, I think I saw in a video where somebody was advising a visa applicant to dress expensively. Because when you dress expensively, it will show to the visa officer that you have money and you can pay. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. If you are coming for the interview as a student, why do you have to wear suit, tie, vest, spectacle, watch, just for a student visa or for visitor's visa? The visa officers do not base their decision on the way you dress. Of course, sometimes your dressing can influence. So I tell people that also your dressing can also show your anxiousness and the kind of person you are, right? So make sure you dress simple, you dress neatly, but simple. Don't overly dress, because it can also show that you are anxious. It can also show that you are somebody who is more like you are proving something, and the visa officers don't do that. They don't want that. So dress simply as you go for your visa interview. Never try to think you are going to wear expensive jewelries to impress the visa officer. In most cases, the visa officer will not even look at you. They are typing, they don't look at you and all that. Okay, so pay attention to that. Point number 5: visa misconception. Having a scholarship guarantees your visa approval, and people without scholarships don't get visas. This is generally not true, because having a scholarship alone is not the requirement to getting the visa. You need to prove that indeed you are coming to the US to study and you really deserve this visa, right? So demonstrate a clear purpose of travel and demonstrating that you return after your study is very key. So I've seen about 3 days ago, I coached a lady for the second time, and she came to us because she was denied first. She was coming to do PhD on a full funding scholarship. She was denied because she couldn't prove to the visa officer about her research interests, right? So this is important. But I've also coached somebody who was coming to do water management right from KNUSC, from Ghana, and his deficit was around $65,000, no scholarship. He was able to get his visa approved because he proved and he explained to the visa officer why his purpose of study is important and demonstrated that he is a genuine student. So whilst having a scholarship is the best option, because it reduces the stress. Even when you get a visa, it doesn't put stress on you because your school is paying, scholarship is paying. Nobody wants to come to the US to come and pay for tuition. It doesn't make sense to me. Well, if you have the money, fine. But even if you have the money, when you get a scholarship, it helps, right? So having a scholarship will be helpful. But it doesn't necessarily mean that if you have a scholarship, you automatically get your visa approved. This is not true. Visa misconception number 6. The embassy will check your social media during the visa process. Well, somebody asked me about this question, and I'm like, when you are applying for the visa, when you are filling the DS-160 form, the visa officers or the form asks you for your social media account. It is there for a reason, which means that when they want to, they can verify, they can check if they want to. But do they have time to do it? Unless there's an issue fishy about you that demands them to dig about your background. I don't think visa officers have time to check everybody's social media account. The interview is very quick, very short, so they don't have time unless you are put on administrative process. However, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't care about what you put on your social media or what you like, because whether you are going for visa interview or not, you must be aware, you must be careful how you use social media, because now social media represents us. If you like something on social media, you are affirming that you believe in that, you share in that ideology, right? So you control how your social media handle should be. So for me, I review tags before I allow it to appear on my profile, because somebody cannot send a hate speech and tag me, and I am asleep, it appears on my profile and somebody stamp on it and they think the person tagged me is a friend of mine, so I believe in that. Social media represents us these days. So make sure you take hold of your own social media, the kind of things you follow, the kind of things you like. These are all important, even for job market, even for school application process. Schools can go to your social media. So what I'm saying is that don't be worried about social media for the purpose of your visa. Worry generally about social media for everything, because that will be helpful. This is a bonus tip I'm giving to you, okay? Right? Very important. Point number 7, the visa officer will decide based on their mood or personal biases. Well, visa officers make decisions based on the rules of engagement, the rules covering the visa. Yes, I believe that as human beings, we all have our own biases, our own interests when we are approaching issues. But I also believe that visa officers do not necessarily deny you because he's not in a good mood. That wouldn't be fair, right? Of course, when I went for my visa interview, the person in front of me was arguing with the visa officer. So the visa officer was angry, and after she called me and she was angry. But that was not the only reason why I was denied. I couldn't perform. It's like, because of the visa officer's mood, it affected the way I performed. I couldn't give good answers. So I believe that visa officer's mood can change, can help, but it does not necessarily. In most cases, the visa officer make the decision based on the rules. I remember one of the guys he went for the visa interview and he said he's coming to NYU to come and do a program. And the visa officer's father did the same program in NYU. So the visa officer was very friendly because he knew about the program and he got his visa. But here he wasn't approved because the visa officer had experience with the school he's coming to. Because in the same way, there's another visa officer who, a lady I coached was going for interview. And the lady told the visa officer that I'm coming to this university. That's the school that the visa officer went to, right? And the visa officer was very excited. So this is my school. But the visa officer denied her because she couldn't prove that she needed a visa. She qualified. So what I'm saying is that the mood of the visa officer necessarily cannot be the sole reason why you are denied. So whilst you are thinking about it, don't focus on the mood of the visa officer. You don't care. When you go for the visa interview and the visa officer is not in a good mood, he's not smiling, he's not friendly, it shouldn't bother you. It shouldn't affect your performance. Focus on your part. Try to give the visa officer reasons why you qualify for the visa, and that should be your concern. I know sometimes at the interview room we see what's happening and some of these things get into our head, but no, that should not be your concern. Okay. Visa misconception number 8: you can pay extra money to speed up your visa process. I've heard a lot of people. Somebody sent me a screenshot where an agent reached out to him to say, hey, if you're going for a visa interview, I know somebody inside who can help you. This is not true. Nobody have any inside information at the US Embassy. Of course, people can help you hunt for dates and charge you money. That is different. But if somebody comes to you, say, pay money to me, I will help you, I'll guarantee you that I know somebody who can help you get the US visa, the person is lying. Even Biden and Trump do not have influence on the visa officer's decision because they are autonomous. They make decisions based on your performance and their own judgments. Okay. Visa misconception number 9: you need an invitation letter to apply for tourist visa. Well, I've always said that basically you don't need an invitation to apply for tourist visa. You can stand up, come to the US, go to the embassy, fill your form, and go and demonstrate that you have the ability and you have the money for your tourist visa. When you are coming to visit me, of course, I can give you an invitation, but the visa officers in most cases will not even check it. As I said, they are there not to verify your document. They are there to ensure that you give them good responses. Sometimes they will check for invitation. For example, if you are coming for a conference and a conference has invited you, or some people have invited you for a conference and all that, that is where invitation may make sense. But don't be sitting there waiting for invitation before you go for your visa interview. You can go to the visa interview without invitation if you are coming on a tourist visa. Okay. Visa misconception number 10: your visa will be denied if you don't have a job. Right? This is relatively subjective because it depends on the type of the applicant. If you are a dependent, you are a student in University of Ghana, 3rd year, 1st year, 2nd, you are coming to visit your parents. You don't have to have a job because you are a young boy, you are still in school, right? But if you are a young boy, you graduated from university, done with national service, you are unemployed, and you are going for visitor's visa, then the visa officer can deny you because you are unemployed, because there's nothing holding you. It is easy for you to overstay, for you not to return. So And if you are coming as a student, it is good to have a job experience. But if you don't have a job experience, you can volunteer somewhere, show that you are volunteering. The visa officer will not deny you because you don't have a job. Sometimes the reason for not having a job, or the reason for denying you for not having a job, is because the visa officer believes that you will not return because you don't have any security in your home country. So it is your role to prove that even though you don't have a job, you have a security, like you will return, you have a tie to your home country in whatever, right? So that is very, very important. Visa misconception number 11. If you fail once, the embassy has blacklisted you. This is not true. I got my visa on the second attempt. I know somebody from South Africa I could. On the 7th attempt, he got his visa. So he tried 7 times in the space of 4 years before he got the visa. So getting a rejection does not mean you have been blacklisted, unless something happened. Unless you lied, unless you presented false documents, unless you presented things and misrepresented yourself. That case, the record will show, and that will be a blacklist in the system. Visa misconception number 12. If you overstay your visa once, you can still get another one. Hey, this one is big one. When you overstay your visa, when assuming you had a US visa and you overstayed, it is automatically denied, like automatic denial, unless you have a good reason for overstaying, unless you can prove to the visa officer why you overstay. In most cases, visa officers do not have mercy, do not have the time to listen to arguments for people who overstayed. So make sure that when you get your visa, whether visitor's visa, you don't overstay your time. It is very important, because when you overstay and you have intention of going for another visa, wallahi, my guy, it will be difficult. You may not get a visa. So pay attention to that. Visa misconception number 13. The officer doesn't check your document during the interview, so they are not important. Hey, so it's true. Most cases, visa officers don't check documents. But sometimes it's so interesting that the time you think they will not check the document is the time they will request it. So be prepared. Go with whatever document, and don't be interested in showing the document. Be interested in proving why you qualify for the visa. As I always say, you are not there to demonstrate that you have the document. You are not there to show your document. You are there to demonstrate that you qualify with your verbal responses to the visa officer's question. That is very, very important. Visa misconception number 14. All African applicants are treated the same way. I've heard a lot of people that, hey, the visa officers do not respect Africans, they deny Africans. Well, sometimes that happens because most of us have overstayed in the United States. According to record, Ghana, for example, is one of the most overstayed visas in the US. So when you are a Ghanaian and you go for your visa interview, you are going to receive a lot of scrutiny as compared to people in a Twasini who barely travel, right? So, of course, when you go for the visa interview, they treat everybody differently because everybody comes with their own case, right? People get visas all the time. I always tell people, one of the easiest countries to get a visa is the US. You have to do things right. You have to have a strategy. You have to have a plan. You have to prepare well and meet the visa interview, requirements. Visa officers don't care to issue visas, okay? And finally, visa misconception number 15. Visa officers have decided the number of approval already. This is not true. Approvals are not predetermined. Approvals are determined based on individual performances and individual requirements. If you qualify for the visa, your visa will be approved. If you don't qualify, your visa will be denied. I hope this is helpful. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Share, like, and subscribe to our channel. If you have any specific questions about preparation, about looking for coaching, or looking for somebody to take you through the visa application process, school application process, please, you can reach out to us with our email and our website in the video description section. We have our Telegram page. You can join 24/7 to ask any question. You can also send us a direct WhatsApp when you check our website for our WhatsApp number. You can also email us and our team will get back to you. I hope this is helpful. And as always, theology is fine. Trust me.